Welcome back. You are still watching Nile Cruise on Nile TV, and the topic now is about once an exporter of oil and gas, Egypt is now struggling to meet its own energy needs. Unfortunately, while Egypt has proven oil reserves of 4.4 billion barrels and proven natural gas reserves of 78 trillion cubic feet, an ever-increasing percentage of the daily production is being used to meet the country's growing energy needs. So I guess one of the possible solutions is renewable energy. We're honored to be having with us here on Nile Cruise Dr. Mohsen, the renewable energy expert, will be talking to us more about the solutions. Hello.
Hello, welcome, Dr.
Thank you.
Well, of course, the first basic question, where does Egypt stand in the international scale in the use of renewable energy?
Okay, it's a very good question. It's a very good introduction to the subject. And unfortunately, the answer is not as cheerful because we're really way back in the queue, really way back. I could give you a few numbers because that would make things more clear in the mind of everybody. If you take, for example, just one application which we could call common or popular application, which is heating your tap water at home using the heat of the sun, instead of using electricity or burning natural gas and so on. So if you look at the solar heating applications in Egypt, we don't really measure them in numbers of units, but rather in square meters of the area of the collection. So if you look at a country like Israel, for example, there are 6 million people and they have 6 million square meters of solar water heaters worth. Now you look at Egypt, and whether we're 80 million or 90 million, or even some say almost 100 million people, so all this large population of ours has less than 1 million square meters of area. So, which means that in a country like Israel, right next door, and a country which does not possess our potential.
Don't we have the potential to be increasing the area of production of solar energy?
Of course. I mean, we have our leading place that we should assume.
Yes.
But of course, to assume your leading position and what you really should have, it takes a number of things. So it takes legislation, proper legislation. It takes transparency of data. It takes really a vision. You have to form a certain vision. You have to look at the whole context. We're talking energy, for example. You have to look at the whole portfolio that you possess, all your resources, and you have to match that with all your demands, whether they are present or future demands.
Yes.
And this needs really to have a vision, to translate that vision into plans, and then to go ahead and proceed and have checkpoints and do the supervision that you are going on the right path, and at least at the desired speed, if not faster, but certainly not slower.
Yes.
And if you happen to be slower, you need to be able to measure that and realize it, and you need to correct the reasons why you're not advancing as quickly as you should.
Well, Dr. Amr, why for some reason isn't the subsidized energy reaching for all those people who deserve it for some reason?
Yeah, again, I mean, it's a matter of proper handling and proper managing of your resources, because you could count subsidy as a resource. It's money, so it is a resource.
Yeah, but what's the reason? Why isn't there a proper redistribution of the resources, as you're saying?
Because of poor management. You need good management, and you need to be able to really first define what you want and devise the measures that would achieve what you want to achieve. And again, follow up, making sure that you are on the right track, you are proceeding at the correct speed, and so on. So it's again a question of management.
Yes. Dr. Amr, I've spoken for a while about solar energy and the potential of Egypt to be realizing the amount of solar energy that
Yes.
can be produced
Yes.
here in the country. So what about the other types of renewable energy, such as wind, that can be used to be actually generating electricity and generating power?
Yeah. Actually, when one refers to renewable energy,
Yes.
you mean really a portfolio. It's not just one thing. It's solar energy in its different forms, wind energy, like you just mentioned,
Yes.
and other forms of energy, like, for example, wave energy and tide energy, geothermal energy, which is the heat under the crust of the earth. And every country on the globe has its own portfolio of resources. So we're back again to management. You have to appreciate what you have, really evaluate it properly, evaluate your demands, and try and match supply and demand in the optimum way. So it's a
Yeah.
question of management.
As you were saying, it's true. It's a question of management. As we have solar energy in Egypt, and the ancient Egyptians used to warm and dry agricultural crops with the sun.
Yeah.
And it was solar energy that was used. Why are we not making use of it right now as we even used to in ancient times? What is the obstacles that are making us not really use it and to be more popular?
Yeah,
As
I
it used
guess
to be before.
if you stop people in the street, or even if you talk to experts, and you ask them that question, what is the problem? Where is the problem? Please put it in one word or point into
Yes.
one issue. People somebody would tell you, we don't have the proper legislation to incentivize the growth and the development of our resource. Somebody else would tell you we need awareness of the population. A
Because
third person
this
would,
is, we have so much. I mean, it's sun. We should be the main exporters of
yeah.
the solar energy.
Let me give you a number that I really like to tell people
Yes,
to make
please
them
do.
appreciate
Yes.
the dimensions of the treasure of solar energy that we have. And the example I'm going to tell you, the number I'm going to tell you, it's not a number based on extrapolation. It's based on actual data measured over 15 years time.
Okay.
Yes.
And thorough calculations and satellite data and so on. So a study which is available for everybody on the internet, people could look at it themselves, it simply says that if you look at the map of Egypt, and if you exclude from the map every single area that is not suitable to build a plant that would convert the heat of the sun into electricity, i.e. the delta is excluded, you eliminate it. The valley of the Nile, you have people living there, agriculture and so on, you just eliminate it. The mountains of South Sinai, you cannot build a plant on a mountain, so you eliminate it. All the lakes, the Eastern Desert has also a chain of mountains, eliminate that.
Yes.
Western Desert, you have moving sand dunes, it's not really adequate to build plant on that, so you eliminate that also. And you just end up with the net area in Egypt, of the area of Egypt, where you could build such plants. So if you do that and you build those plants, you would generate an amount of electricity. Now, this amount of electricity